Welcome back to another episode of Keoni Chats. So my guest today is Ian Slade Tullis, and I met him in high school, but at that time he was just going by Ian Tullis. And the way we met was I was with a friend. We were walking to this, I think east wing of the high school to go have some lunch, and then we just saw him sitting by himself. And she was very much one of those types of people that like to include others, just like myself. So we just sat with him and ate lunch with him, and to get to reconnect with him, that was a very fun and very enlightening experience because he has gone through a whole lot of change in his life since leaving Sunset. And without going into too much details, because then obviously he won't be here for the episode. I'm very happy for him to do this acting classes because I did see a spark of creativity and flair in his mannerisms as he was walking around, walking around the school. He's very, it just seemed that for him to be an actor just makes so much sense. So once he embarked on that, he just decided to go by Ian Slade. That I just thought that was a great name choice because I know a lot of actors do. They have the option to pick their names. Actually, I don't know. It's just from what I've seen as a fan. So Ian Slade, and that's how I'll market this episode. So Ian Slade, he's currently in LA, and for a guy that just got off like an 8-hour shift, he had some energy. It was very surprising to have this conversation with him because I found myself trying to catch my breath as he was going off on one topic, showing how much passion he has for that one topic, and then trying to follow up. So very grateful for him for mustering up some energy for the interview. So if you are here to check out Ian Slade's episode, and you want to check out more episodes, my guest list isn't the most high profile. So that's just how I view podcasting. It's like everyone does have podcasts, yes, but I just feel like it's more of a celebrity game where they can ask their other high-profile actors or other high-profile athletes. So these aren't high-profile people, but I think they're telling great stories, and I'm so honored to be the storyteller for that. So if you want to check out the show, you go to Keoni Chats on all podcast platforms and YouTube, so subscribe and follow on those. And then if you want to be in the loop when new episodes are released, just follow the KC Media brand on social media. So that will be KC Media 13 on both Instagram and Twitter, and then Conlu K Media on Facebook. So I do social media announcements for the episodes, and I do also follow-up reminder announcements about the previous episodes the next week after it gets released. So I try and be more consistent about making sure people know that, hey, Ian has an episode. Check it out. It's a great story. You get to hear about some of his there's some stuff that happened to him while in New York that I'm not going to mention because I think you have to listen and you have to hear from him exactly what I'm referring to. Again, that's a teaser. So, so check it out. I do also post video versions of the podcast on my personal website on keoniconlu.com, keoniconlu.com. So you have so many ways to know about these episodes, but the best way is obviously just subscribe and follow to the show on whichever podcast platform you are using, and just turn on the bell button and get notified. So however you are listening to this episode on whichever platform you prefer, or if you are watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoy my chat with my good friend Ian Slade. So you're telling me about your day. We are officially on the clock. We're recording now. So
all right,
let
let's go.
the shenanigans, let the hoo-ha, let it all fly out.
Let the buffoonery
With a
let the buffoonery go.
with a capital B.
Capital B.
Capital B.
Oh my gosh.
You
So my name is Ian. Should I introduce myself?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I definitely want.
All right. Hello, fans of Keoni's podcast. My name is Ian Slade. I am uh, talking to you from Los Angeles, California, and I live and work in West Hollywood. And today I just did a 8-hour hosting shift at the Butcher, the Baker, and the Cappuccino Maker.
I also love how that
On
rhymed. That just
it
the head
lit.
that rhymed.
So it used to be the Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker, but that stuff ain't safe. We don't do candles anymore. Candles are illegal in California. So I'm just kidding. We have the Butcher, the Baker, and the Cappuccino Maker. I'm the lead host.
Ah.
And basically, I sort of like, I'm not really a manager, but I really like freaking flip these tables and I like move the restaurant all day long. So it's like a really high stamina, like very intense job. And I love it.
Yeah, so I just remember, I've for me at least, when it comes to those kind of stressful, kind of chaotic situations, you and I, we have that same kind of mentality where it gets like we can be very loose, casual, fun, and then as soon as it's game mode, we like zone in and we get it done.
Yes, like you have to be so hyper focused and it's like long hours and it's just requiring like a really kind of insane amount. Sorry, my roommates are here.
You're
I have two lovely roommates, Nico and Christian, and we're all reunited after a long year of me being on the East Coast. So
so no, I want to ask you about your time at
yeah,
the East Coast in a second, but you're enjoying a beer. Your day is done,
yes. So
mostly.
FYI, I if I appear tired, I'm sorry, but no, I'm very happy to be here. This is really cool.
When you are finally done, whether it is a long day, with the butcher, the baker, and the
Yeah.
cappuccino maker, or if you're just long day on the sets, how do you relax? How do you like unwind and take a breath?
So I am very lucky. I live near Runyon Canyon. Have you heard of Runyon?
I mean, it sounds really close to Funyun, so
So, well, it's even better than that. It's
ooh,
Runyon Canyon is a very famous like park that's basically this incredible view overlooking the entire LA skyline. So it's kind of this like stark deserty bare hillside. It's very cool. It's like and so what everyone does is they like dress up like in their sexiest sporty little workout outfits and put on makeup and like do their hair and then go just on this hillside walk. So I
okay.
live like a 10-minute walk from there. I love it. That's why I like to I go there probably 2 or 3 times a week. So
Yeah, and so
yeah.
LA, huge city, New York,
Uh
another huge city. I, I'm trying to also wrap my head around like you in a small town like Beaverton. Before when you got to be actually no, I want to ask you about New York because you're in New York for the year during COVID year. How was that for you?
yeah, dude, I have been in LA for like 3 years now and have like not visited New York ever. And this is for people, everyone who doesn't know this. I am from New York. I grew up there. I have a lot of friends out there. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been like a minute since I was really like
a,
truly
a hot
around.
a hot minute.
Yeah. So before, and I should tell your followers, before LA, I was not in New York. I was in Shanghai, China for 3 years. So I went and learned Mandarin and studied Chinese theater in China before that. So I haven't been in New York for years, honey, years. And guess what? Guess what? It was like coming home. It
Yep.
was really cool. It
Yeah.
was I needed it. I definitely um so my family has a second home that they've moved into, made their primary home in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. So this is like a 2.5 hour drive north of New York, or about a 2 hour drive from Boston. And it's like the forest, basically, like woods, farm, like it's very, very rural. And so I literally went out there May of 2020 and I just got back to LA like 1 month ago. So I was out there for almost like I want to say 10 months, like 11 months.
Hmm.
Keoni, that was a long time.
That's a yeah.
I literally isolated myself like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And so yeah, my mom was out there on her own. She needed to have some pretty serious surgery. I'm not going to mention exactly what it was, but
Sure, sure.
just something that is randomly in our family that I'll probably have to have a surgery when I'm a little bit younger for this than a normal person would. So I went out there and helped her do that for the whole summer, and I helped her get back on her feet and recover. And then I got to act in a couple movies, got to do some stand-in and some background into hot movies. I think one's going to be called Red 48.
Oh,
I play a grocery store worker who, or like a manager of a grocery store that falls prey to a giant like terrorist like holdup by like the most scary people. And I'm like in like a green apron and like a flannel shirt. And I have like this like big like 80s mustache for the movie.
so
And
how,
so
yeah.
that was shot in New Jersey in August of 2020 and September of 2020. And then 2 months later, I shot another movie that's going to be out soon. It's actually with Lucy Hale. Lucy Hale, for anyone who doesn't know her, she was on a show called Pretty Little Liars, and then she did like Love Island a couple years ago, or like Fantasy Island. She did Fantasy Island.
Isn't that like a horror movie?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah.
I love my restaurant, but I did not go to NYU
Yeah.
and do theater my whole life.
Just to bust tables and be the head
And
host.
yeah, but you know what? After a long year of like doing nothing and just being like a welfare queen and getting unemployment, and you know, here's the thing. I think people really need a purpose in their lives. I think people need something to do every day. I think having a job is just like so necessary for like your mental health, really, you know.
Yeah.
And so I really love being busy at a restaurant for like 8 hours. Like it's totally like it's so fun. I don't know what to say. It's very fun.
Outside of the purpose of like, a daily routine of like you need to wake up, you need to go shower, do this.
Yeah,
What else is your purpose? What do you think is your purpose?
that's a really good question.
I'm getting better
You
at
know,
these question asking says the more practice I
I
get.
know. You know, it's funny you asked this because I have been really thinking about this a lot. Like I've been really just sort of I write in my journal a lot, and I spent a lot of pandemic just like writing and kind of thinking about everything. And I sort of think that I would love to eventually maybe write some op-eds or have like an ongoing blog or some sort of thought piece, because I think I'm actually really interested in kind of politics and popular culture.
Really?
Um, there's a I have a big literary hero I want to encourage all your listeners to check out, Camille Paglia. She's a very controversial, like a lot of people hate her and think she's like a conservative and that she's like evil and mean, but she's an interesting writer who like likes to talk about art history and popular culture and politics. And I really admire big, interesting cultural critics like that, you know? I really admire people who have done their homework, have a pretty vast, like, interesting Rolodex of references that they remember and think about all the time. And so I think she's a really interesting writer. And that's something like I would love to do. I would love to have some like honestly a podcast. I would love to have a podcast, Keoni. So I
Here's your
am so I
practice. Here's your
girl,
practice.
girl, this is some good practice. You were, I'm, I know this is very cool, Keoni. Cheers.
I, I, I have water. That's it. I don't have beer. But
I know. Yeah, I need to
so
also eat something. God,
yeah. So we'll, don't chug that too quickly. Yeah,
sorry.
baby a little bit.
I'll nurse her. I'm gonna nurse her. I'm gonna nurse her.
So going back to your time in New York, so obviously
Yeah,
you help your mom, and then you were
yeah,
also working, so you weren't just idly sitting there.
yeah. Oh, and I was redecorating her whole house,
Ooh, got the interior
every
designer.
room. Oh, girl, I am the queer eye for the straight guy, more like queer eye for like my mom, queer eye for my mom in the Berkshires. I don't know. Okay, so I loved it. It was such a I've never had the chance to like be that creative and like do like work with your hands and like but also kind of make like artistic choices. It was really fun to like
Mhm.
basically have a blank canvas because basically that house got had never really had a real like it was just like the first chance to really live there all the time and do something with it. So it was really cool. I so basically this year was visiting old friends in New York, working a couple of film jobs, becoming the queer eye for the straight guy in one for my poor mother who needed who
Queer eye
needed
for the
someone to
straight
take care.
mom.
Queer eye for my mom Karen.
There you go. There you go.
Queer eye for Karen. Um, and yeah, I got my first shot of Pfizer mid
Nice.
March in New York City,
Yeah.
and then I got my second shot of Pfizer like April Fool's Day, I think. I don't know what that was, what all that scheduling was saying. I don't know what they were trying to say about me, but and
Well, buddy,
so Keoni, the minute I got that second shot, I felt such a sense of relief,
yeah,
A-
exactly.
and I was like booking that ticket to LA like right now. Like
Exactly.
I have been in the same house for a year, and I need to go have a life. And I was very lucky. My restaurant was essentially waiting for me to come back. So
Yeah.
I'm working 5 days a week at my restaurant right now. So that's a major blessing to have. Yeah.
How were you as a kid?
Oh my God, how was I as a kid? So I was a kid in New York City. I was a little kid. My parents separated. Okay, I was born in Cambridge, Mass. My mom was a Harvard grad student, and my dad was a Tufts. It's just such a weird name. Parents were there for grad school. I was born in the early 90s. I'm not going to tell you what year, but no, we're the same age probably.
Yeah, we are. We are.
Are we,
We're
are
both,
we, are we, are we, are we 92? Are
I'm
you
I'm
both 92?
91. I'm
Oh,
91. So
I'm the baby here.
yeah, you are. You are.
I'm
Okay.
the
All right.
baby. Okay, so
You gotta do that.
so
You gotta do my eyebrows next, right?
well, we
You
need
could do some work.
we gotta shape them up a little, just a little
That's
bit.
fine.
Just
That's fine.
that's okay. So my parents actually before like just a year before that, guess what? They had been living in West Berlin before the Berlin Wall came down, and they traveled to the Soviet Union, like to like Moscow, to Ukraine. So my parents, right before I came into the world, were like these cool like American spies like in the Soviet Union. Like
Wow.
and my dad speaks fluent German, and my mom spoke pretty good conversational German back in the day. My dad is like a German language nerd, so
Yeah.
he was sent there on his Mormon mission when he was
Mission,
19
quote
years old.
unquote.
What? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Because
Yeah.
a spy. Yeah.
He's a spy. He's a spy. He's a spy. And he learned German there. He always speaks very fondly of those years in Germany. Like it was, I remember. So back to your question about my childhood, I remember a lot of my childhood, like listening to my dad go on his mission abroad, and
Mm,
I think that actually later would inspire me to like when I lived in China for a couple years. So,
yeah.
but then anyway, so okay, um, my mom and my dad met in Utah because they're Mormons back in the day, and then go to the Soviet Union, fall in love, and then moved to Boston and Cambridge, and then that's where I was born.
Okay.
For whatever reason, and I will not really discuss this much, they separated when
Mhm.
I was like about four, I think, three or four. So uh, my mom then immediately essentially moved us to New York City. and I grew up in downtown Manhattan. In have you heard of Tribeca? Do you know what Tribeca is, Keoni?
Oh, I mean, I've probably heard it
Basically,
like TV
basically,
shows.
this is where Robert De Niro lives. This is where Beyonce lives, and this is Beyonce and Jay Z. This is
The hoity-toity
it's
neighborhood.
yes, and it
Okay.
was very cool and bohemian and cheap in like 1997 when we moved there. So we had a very cool apartment, and then the school there is a local school that I still am kind of in touch with a lot of people from called PS 234.
Hmm.
And so I want to, this is a little like pop quiz for your fans. What is at the corner of Greenwich Street and Chambers Street in Manhattan in Tribeca? That's PS 234. Where is that in relation to where the Twin Towers were?
Oh, I feel like you're gonna say not that
Keone,
far.
Keone, just guess the relation from that school to where the Twin Towers were in back in '01.
If we're talking about like blocks, like how many blocks away?
Yeah, how many Keone, how many blocks was that school from ground zero?
Okay, is it double digits or single digits?
Single.
Dear God, like 8, 5, 1,
No, no, four.
4. Oh, so close. Damn, dude.
So the defining insane episode of my childhood was 9/11. When I would later move to Portland, where we met Keone,
Mhm.
and because I did you know that I went to PSU for like 2 years?
I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah, I did.
So when I was at PSU, the weirdest thing happened. I met like tons of 9/11 conspiracy theorists, all these like kids from the Pacific Northwest who like really like revealed like a lot of like conspiracies. And so this is so crazy to me. It was the weirdest thing living in Portland later because as a kid, I truly had like an insane up close right there like experience on 9/11 in New York City. Like basically my mom almost lost her life that day. I was running from the dust cloud with family friends who took me because they didn't want to leave me at the school. And it was just the most incredibly traumatic and like insane event of my childhood. It was truly like a science fiction movie kind of disaster, thing. Like it was truly real and crazy. Keone, would later go to Portland, Oregon. Keone, these people are really like they do not believe it happened, and it's just like crazy to me. I just don't even know what to say to them. I don't know what to say to, and I would later, after Portland, not at NYU, but in China, would also meet tons of people who think that 9/11's a conspiracy, and that to me is like just a little bit, just almost insulting because it's like guys, like I don't know what you need to hear. Like I literally watched everything happen with my own eyes and like heard the planes. Like there were literal planes that flew into these towers. So I hope I'm not going too deep into like the QAnon world right now. I'm just letting people know I think it's just really hard. It rings so harshly to the ears of New Yorkers when, for example, people in Portland, Oregon, just are really flippant and casual about that.
Ignorant, belligerent.
I think they sound ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. I think it sounds really like just like you were not there and you don't know what it was like to actually be there that day. And it just is really I don't think it's and this year's the 20th anniversary. Isn't that crazy? This year's gonna be the 20th anniversary.
So yeah, that's also insane that 20 years ago that happened. But
20 years.
how has that experience still affected you to this day?
Well, can I just be totally cynical and real with you?
That's what I want to hear.
So you know what started to happen around that time? I started to be interviewed and I got on a lot of news channels. I was featured on Reading Rainbow as like this like 9/11 victims choir boy with like a solo. Literally I had a solo on some like New York City Reading Rainbow episode.
So you got paraded around to these different
Oh
networks,
my God.
basically.
So Keone, and then the National Geographic magazine featured a profile on my class, and we were featured on a National Geographic TV channel. Like I'm interviewed for, so I was like your poster boy, like 9/11, like child victim.
Yeah, sounds like it, man.
So this is also when my family moved from downtown Manhattan to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And so then I spent all of my, you know, teen years, all my teen years were in Brooklyn. And yeah.
So did
Whew,
your
let me get a drink for a
yeah,
second.
yeah,
Woo,
yeah,
woo.
yeah. uh did your okay, so did your dad reach out to you? Have you talked to your dad? Like, did you talk to your dad after the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
time? Okay.
So yeah, let me kind of backtrack a little bit. So all my childhood, I'd say from like 5 years old and on, I was frequently visiting my dad in Utah
Okay.
during this summer. I would spend the whole summer with my dad. I would go to, so later, so my dad got remarried and moved to Portland in the same year. This was 2002.
Right.
So then this is why I started going to Portland as a little kid. Um, and so I just want to clarify for everyone, like I would, like visit my dad for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for Easter, and then all of the year, like all of school, and then like sometimes for vacation on the summertime, I'd be with my mom in New York.
Hmm.
And my mom, one of the coolest things about my childhood is that my mom, who had gone to Europe when she was now my age today, or like a little bit younger, my mom took me all over the world as a kid. My mom
Hmm.
was she was a really great person. She was a great mom. She freaking took me to London, to France, and Switzerland, and Italy, and Germany, and Ireland, and anyway, so my mom really loves to travel, and
Mhm.
that's a very cool thing to have. And then yeah, I later returned the favor and took her up to the Great Wall of China and made her hike her butt up that hill. That was, by the way, for everyone listening, there are truly sections of the Great Wall of China in Beijing that are like rugged, crazy, like dangerous, extremely dangerous, and I made my mother climb like the most dangerous one that she could have like lost her life. And so I later would return the favor to my poor mother because when I was 10 years old, she took me on this death hike through Switzerland over an Alp where we had like one route saying remember like in Beauty and the Beast when the father like looks down one path
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like clearly like the nicer way he should go, and there's like the evil like scary path with like,
There's
so
like
my mom
just
my
all
mom took me,
branches,
yeah,
darkness,
all branches
birds.
dark. So my mom saw there was two signs saying like, one saying like 20-minute hike and one saying like an hour, but the one that saying an hour had like pretty flowers, and the hike that said only 20 minutes was the ugly one.
Uh.
So when I was a kid, my mom took us on this dangerous hike where we got like dehydrated and like crawling through like the Alps.
Oh my god, dude.
And so I returned the favor 20 years later and made her climb the Great Wall of China and like almost have like a Mongolian death scene. I don't know. Anyway.
So I'm not gonna ask you about your favorite part doing all this traveling because I think that's kind of impossible to do. But
No, let me tell you, my favorite thing was living in China. And I want to tell all your listeners that that is like basically, if this is a very simplified way of thinking, if the earth is a coin, I would say you got US on one side and you have China on the other side, and that's a very polarized, like bipolar, like what's that's like a very I think that's a very simplified way of seeing it, but if just living there you feel truly like this is how the world works.
Mhm.
And I'm like literally like, New York City and Beijing are 12 hours apart from each other on the planet,
Yeah.
time zones. So it's like day and night, opposites, black and white, like night and day. It's so yeah, China was, I want to encourage all your listeners. Once I'm very excited what China is going to be like once it reopens to tourists in
Yeah.
about like maybe like a year or two.
Yeah. Because I feel like who knows? There could be holograms. There could be like flying
if
cars.
if we don't go to war, like this is crazy. Like we are really like on a scary like butting heads with China right now. If we do not go to war, which I am praying to like Xi Jinping, praying to Xi Jinping, please let's not go to war. Like we don't need to do this. Um, I would love to go back. I think China will be like
Keoni Chats is proudly sponsored by Vibes Training. Dylan Vibes is a good friend and former guest of the show, and after he did his time as a fitness trainer for those big name fitness circuit companies, he decided to challenge himself and become his own man and open up Vibes Training. So I wanted to show my support for Dylan because he's a great friend, and I have this platform, and if I don't do what I can to help my friends, I don't know what I'm doing here as a podcast host. So if you are itching to get outside and just be in the sun, but also want to get a workout in because it is spring, before you know it, it'll be summer, I think this is the app for you. So if you go to vibestraining.com and then you click on the blue button to become registered and become a client of Dylan, you'll be able to find a plethora of workouts ranging from 5 to 60 minutes. And then for what you'll need equipment-wise can also be a wide variety, where you could just need some dumbbells, barbells, bands, or you could also just need nothing at all. Or also if you have a backpack, that can be used as well. So Dylan's very enthusiastic. He's very creative, not just as a person with does photography, almost like podcast, not just as a person that does his photography and also some videography, just with his workout ideas. So, and if you are curious to see what kind of workouts he does before becoming a client, on Instagram, go to Vibes Training PDX, and then check out his feed because he does have some workouts on there, and those workouts that are on there, it's him doing them. So I think that's pretty awesome that he's showing that he can walk the walk after talking the talk. So check out vibestraining.com, click on the blue button, get registered, and then become a client of Vibes and get Vibes Fit today.
So what's happened, Keoni, they haven't had any lockdowns like we have. They had a lockdown all the way back in January and February of 2020, and then it's been completely like it's just been completely fine over there. They don't have to wear masks. Um, they like it's essentially life as normal, but like 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
So China is like in this truly like a bubble right now. No one can get in or out. If you leave and you have kind of maybe like not a perfect visa, you really can't get back in unless you want to do like a very long 2 week or like 3 week quarantine. You have to do like a 3 week long quarantine right now every time you enter China. And then they almost were about to ban any vaccine that's not the Chinese Sinovac vaccine.
Really?
They were about to, and then guess what? Their vaccine compared to Pfizer, for example, Pfizer is maybe like 95% effective compared to Sinovac. Sinovac was looking about maybe like 50% effective.
Wow. You would think
So
that could be like swapped, where the Chinese, they do have a little more technology, a little
I
more.
don't. So that's the thing. Like all those years I lived in China, Keone, and this is why I want to tell your listeners, China was like cutting edge, like ahead of us. They, you know how we all have to like scan QR codes
Mm-hmm.
for restaurants right now. Like my restaurant now, we don't do paper menus; we just do QR codes.
Yep.
Girl, we've been paying with our phones with those damn QR codes back in like 2014, back in 2015 in China. China
Yeah,
is
they're
like China has leapt ahead of US when it comes to like these like cell phones, QR codes, high speed rail, delivery, like apps, like there's just it's just crazy. Like those years were like so interesting. And the thing is those apps don't really they're not that popular in America. Like we kind of have you do you have a WeChat account, Keone?
I've heard of it because I have family
Have
that's
you heard
been
of
in China.
WeChat?
Yeah.
So there's this amazing little thing called WeChat. This was the like most incredible invention I'd ever seen when I found it. China has an app called WeChat developed by a company called Tencent. They're based in Shenzhen, and this app is basically like what your phone is. So anyway, like, so those years were so amazing in China, and it's crazy right now how like scary things have become and how like far away China feels. It feels like China and the US are very, very far away and don't want to get close to each other. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like, I don't know how much you follow Chinese politics, but it's just like really grim. It's pretty grim right now.
Yeah,
And
because
it's a shame because like
yeah,
I you know, like it was just a couple years ago, things were like kind of on a good dialogue, a good like kind of diplomatic level,
yeah.
and it's just, yeah, Trump kind of like unleashed like the fire. He kind of like tried to burn China really hard.
Because like
Yeah.
I asked my
So
brother, he watches Pokemon Go live streams from like all around the world. So
yeah.
he saw some in China, and then yeah, they were basically just maskless. And then they said like they know how to lock everything down. They know how to handle this. Their masks has been something they worked
Yeah.
with forever,
Oh, and they follow the rules.
and they follow the
Like they
rules.
have to be obedient and follow the rules.
Yeah.
Like I literally was in a Marshalls yesterday buying Hawaiian shirts, and this woman is like running her mouth, like screaming like I am right now in my own apartment, but she's like talking to everybody. She's like, oh yeah, that stupid Fauci, oh yeah, like she was just really loud.
Yeah.
And just I started laughing because I couldn't tell if I was laughing at like how bold and like kind of brazen she was just to be like running her mouth, or if I was also kind of like, you just like sound like a little ignorant, like you sound like a little bit like really cynical about the vaccine. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I started laughing, and she's like, oh, and she was on the phone. She's like, oh, some asshole is laughing at me. And I said, no, I'm not really laughing at you. Like I'm kind of, I'm impressed with like how, free you are to speak your mind. Like I was like, good for you, lady. I was like, you go, like you say what you want. But like, no, I walked away really feeling like I, don't agree with her.
Hmm.
But, I also don't feel like I don't want to tell someone to shut up.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I if I really were to be honest with her, I'd let her know that I just think that it's probably not for the best to, like, I don't know. I think I just would probably try to have like a real conversation with her if
And
that's possible.
and plus this person is not a friend to you, not an acquaintance.
Hmm.
It's just like such a short
A
interaction.
complete stranger.
Yeah.
What do I want to invest for? Like, I don't know this person. I don't need to really talk to her.
Do
And she seems a little crazy, so I don't really want
yeah.
to like get
It,
too close.
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like you have other things you need to do other
Yeah,
than
like
shop at Ross.
girl, I had to go to my barber
Yeah.
yesterday. I had a trip to the barber shop. I had a what was I doing last night? I met up with some friends. I had a lot of laundry to do yesterday. I did
Yeah.
not have time.
Do
I did
you
not have time for miss, really bad glasses and bad outfit old lady. So
yeah.
I'm being mean now. I'm just kidding. I'm being mean.
So I wanted to ask you about going back a little bit about when you did travel, or your mom took you
Yeah.
to all these other places. So I didn't want to ask you about your favorite moment because I'm sure there are like 1,000 moments. But what kind of I guess idea did you start developing about your mom as she took you to all these places? You had all these shared experiences.
Well, yeah, my mom was like my family basically. And this is a little sort of awkward for me to talk about because I just have like a very different experience with my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
But I love them both. Like I don't really have a lot of resentments towards either of them. And I think they did pretty much like the best they could. You know what I mean? Like of course, I think so. Okay, Keoni, when I moved out to live with my dad and I met you back in high school,
Hmm.
I before that move, so yeah, so basically to update your fans, so like or sorry, fans, I mean your listeners. Sorry. Keoni, I hope your listeners are your fans. I'm just kidding. Okay, so your listeners, I moved. I finished my high school years in. I finished my senior year after all of my years in Brooklyn as like a teenager. With the crazy, they're gonna hate me for saying this. My friends, the 13 movie, like Rachel Evan Wood, Crazy Girls. No, they were like that for like 1 year, but we've been really close over the years, and I got to see them this past year in New York. So I love them. I'm just kidding to Megan, Julia, and Nikki. Okay, so I was just going to say that, okay, this was very crazy. The 2008, 2009, the whole financial crisis of that time, sort of similar to 9/11. Oh, God. Similar to 9/11 was like hard, took a toll on my family. And all of a sudden it just made sense for me to move with my dad.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I moved in with my dad in Portland in the summer of 2009, and I started my senior year at Sunset High School with
Apollos.
with yours truly, Keoni Conlu. That's your last name, right?
Yep.
Keoni Conlu.
You're
Yep,
right. You're right.
got it. And we've been Facebook friends. we we went to prom together.
We did.
Not, I mean, not as a couple though. I mean, you did turn me down when I asked you, but no. So
I'm
at the
sorry, man.
time,
I'm sorry,
at,
man. You know, it's
I
just
know, Keoni, why do you have to deny the truth? Why do you have to lie to yourself, to me? I just feel like you're just not being honest. No, I'm just kidding. So I had the most amazing girlfriend in the world. My pretty much my only girlfriend I really have ever had.
yeah.
Um, you,
Super.
it was.
She was super nice in
I,
high
I don't
school.
know. I don't know if she's like mad at me because like both of us later would come out. So her name's Shannon,
Mm-hmm.
and Shannon is a really amazing person. So
Yeah.
if Shannon, if you're listening, you are you are, I miss you. I hope you're okay. Like you, I would love to come to New Mexico. So Shannon apparently is living in New Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she like works with horses. I think she like
Yeah, because she wasn't a she
she
did
she
equestrian.
raised
Yeah.
she raises horses in New Mexico.
That's
And yes,
incredible.
and to complete what everyone's imagining, yes, she's a lesbian now. Yes. Um, I'm just kidding.
You're
No,
painting the picture extremely clear, and I love it.
Shannon is amazing, and like, yeah, I would love to see her. And for the record, to bring it back to like 2010, when we went to prom, I was Robert, she was Taylor. Okay,
uh,
Taylor Swift. Shannon looked like a hotter version of Taylor Swift.
yeah,
And so yeah, so that night you took out Lorna,
I do
Miss
remember
Lor
that. Yes.
Miss Lorna Lee, who
Yep.
was my theater buddy. And then, I've actually seen Lorna almost every time, excuse me, almost every time I've been in Portland.
I ran
So
into her once, like, because I was working at Nike, and she was actually a catering for like a Nike event. So then I was just back there working, and then I see her. I'm like, holy crap, is that Lorna? And then when she like we recognized each other, and we just started talking. It's like, oh my god, how
so
does life get us here?
do you know who Laura looks like?
Are you talking like celebrity
Did,
wise, or
did I just say Laura? I meant
you did?
Lorna.
You- the beer's kicking in.
All right.
The beer's kicking in.
Sorry, the beer is kicking in. Sorry, I got to sober up. Okay. Lorna looks like Laura Linney.
Really? Who? Where is she in?
You know Laura Linney? Oh, come on. Laura
Oh man.
Linney, the actor studio with Laura Linney.
So this is a part where I will edit and put in a picture of her over the video feed, and now everyone knows
So
who she is.
so I think Lorna looks like a young Laura Linney.
Mm.
And anyway, I miss Lorna. I want to come to Portland, guys. I think September I'm gonna do a big Portland pilgrimage
Ooh.
to help sweep up the mess of downtown.
It has
Jeez,
it
I
has
hear
gone
it's
better.
just a
It
night.
got better.
I hear it's just like a dystopian, depressing nightmare of downtown.
Certain patches, like some of it's like opening up again very slowly, but then a lot of
Oh,
the spots are just like a lot of like stores downtown. They are
yeah,
closing down permanently, but there's some restaurants kind of the
it's so
outskirts of
sad.
downtown. I know,
It's such a, I hate it.
I know,
I can't believe it.
I know. But
So 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 yeah, that was so yeah. Then I lived in Portland and went to PSU.
yeah, and then so you know Mormon, German.
Yep.
That's a pretty strong combo. What were their reactions like when you came out to them?
Oh my God. Yeah, let's talk about that. So this was when I was a sophomore in college. This was 2011. I want to take everyone back 10 years ago. Everyone remember, let's all remember Obama's first term.
Yep.
This was the year the iPad, like
Everything was a little greener outside because
the
Obama was
iPad
there.
2. I don't know. A lot of good music came out that year. This was like, I don't know, Rihanna's S&M period. Rihanna's We
Mhm.
Found Love in a Hopeless Place, like Beyonce, Lady Gaga. So Lady Gaga was really encouraging everyone 10 years ago to totally embrace being gay. And I was a very big Lady Gaga little secret closeted mega fan. So
She
she,
calls her fans monsters, right?
yes, I was a little monster. I was a little monster. I and I still love her, but don't I I'm gonna be real here and gossip about Lady Gaga, and I'm sorry if I'm offending big fans of hers. I feel like she will never match her first couple years, and I don't really like her recent albums. So sorry, but
Yeah.
I still respect her a lot, and I thought Star Was Born was very good. The first half, again, just like her damn career, the first half of A Star Is Born was good, and I really loved. So yeah, we were playing her at our prom. Remember that, Keoni? We were
I do.
playing
I do.
Lady Gaga at prom. So that was why I came out. Lady
Okay.
Gaga is honestly combined. They kind of on Facebook announced October 11th of
Mhm.
2011. Nico, is that right? Nico? Oh,
As he's checking with a roommate.
I thought my room. So my one of my roommates is a reporter who focuses on trans issues
Uh-huh.
and queer, interesting politics. I'm really pushing him to cover Caitlyn Jenner running for governor of California.
I thought I read about that somewhere, but
So Caitlyn Jenner is gonna run and become like, I think Caitlyn is gonna be like the next Trump. I'm convinced that Caitlyn Jenner wants to win and become governor of California, just like Arnold, just like Trump, just be like a celebrity governor. So,
I mean, I really hope the next one's Dwayne
uh,
Johnson for president.
ah,
I would love that.
amen. I'm
Right?
no. What if like celebrities start running for office and that just becomes the norm? How crazy would that be?
Well,
Just
Kanye said he was going to run, but
ah,
jokingly.
he didn't commit to that little bit at all.
Nope.
He was very flaky. I was mad. I was like, he commits to all of his projects hard, and I don't know what that little fake ass little joke, little prank. And yeah, Kanye 2020 was disappointing,
Yeah.
right? Was it not?
Yeah.
Was it not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Lady Gaga helping you come out.
So yeah, so I everyone was very supportive, and then I talked to my dad, and I don't think he'd be mad at me for saying this, but he basically was like, "All right, give me like a week or two, and we'll like." He's like, "I just need to process all of this."
Yeah.
I don't know. Some days I was really mad at him for a while, but honestly, it's also like cool because he and I are cool, and some people like really get disowned or kicked out, or like sometimes people really like lose their families when this happens. So
Yeah.
my whole my grandma, all my aunts and uncles, all my cousins, they have all been like totally just, it's never been an issue. I haven't told everyone my family, but hey, if they're listening, here we are. Like I really don't mind. Like I honestly really don't mind talking about it. And yeah, I bet I was also telling you before we started recording. I also feel like, I don't think I'm a one-dimensional person, and
Oh, God, no, you are not.
that I don't think I really think we need to get to a point where like sexuality really doesn't have to do with your personality.
Hmm.
I think it should be, and I know that that can be maybe a little bit hard to get around as an idea if you're maybe a little more religious or conservative, or more like trying to encourage like procreation between men and women. I think that's also like, like our society needs to have a child birth rate. Like I have nothing against like that attitude, but I just think that I just can't. I don't want to lie to myself and live in a horrible nightmare where um, you can't be yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what this is about. I think conservatives, but here's the thing, I think conservatives have like gotten over this issue. It's just, I feel like it's still a little, we're still getting to that point. I want to encourage conservatives to like strike up a conversation with a gay person and because just to like, you know, neutralize the fear. I think we just need, or like neutralize the feeling of you're not compatible with me and I don't want to be around you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like, sorry, let me try to clarify this. Yeah, I am proud of being gay and being honest and real. And I want everyone to know that I have a lot of things going on up here. And that is absolutely nothing, like not the thing that I would say defines me. You know, I
Yeah.
am, I speak Mandarin. I like working at a restaurant. I love comedy clubs. I'm an actor. Like that's the truth. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and plus, there at never at one point in my life of knowing you did I think you're one dimensional at all. Because
yeah.
just like when I met you, just you're a very interesting look to you because you got the little bit of a ear length hair, you had the eyebrows. There's that, and just like all the conversations I've had with you, they're always so much fun. So
Yeah.
I always knew there was more to you, and and plus in the research process that everyone knows about, it's very colorful. You're very colorful. You're very lively. So it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
how can this guy like? How can anyone assume that this guy has only one level to him?
Yeah.
So
And guess what? That's actually, unfortunately, I don't know why. Like it's so silly to me. Like that's a fear of why people hold off coming out. That
mm,
really is a fear. It's a fear that like like you know, if I have friends or men, that they will be like afraid of me or think I'm like, so that's the big fear, is like you don't want to lose your friends, you don't want to like lose your family, you don't want to lose your dad,
mhm.
you don't want to lose like, you know, people that you would like to be like in a, you know, be connected with. So but I think I have to say I got pretty lucky as far as how family and coming out have gone. And yeah, my mom was fine. I actually in New York grew up, but my mom had lots of gay friends,
Mhm.
lesbian friends. Honey, I was raised by the gays, raised by the gays, in New York City. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the gay stuff. Actually, I haven't talked about this in like a long time. This is
S-
crazy.
So
I haven't talked about gay stuff in a while.
uh, is there any point in your life where you kind of thought like if your mom didn't have lesbians, gays in the house around you when you were still developing your mind, did you ever think like if they didn't, where would I be
No.
now? No.
So you know what I think about though? That's not what I think about. I actually think I for many years was very frustrated that my dad was not more present. I was frustrated that I I just, when I was like 17 and then later when I was about 24 when I was in China, I was really needing like male bonding, like dad time. And I just was all of a sudden realizing that I it's there's nothing wrong with being raised by a cool liberal fun mom in New York City who like takes me traveling. Like I that's the thing, like I feel like I have nothing to really complain about. I just wish that I was able to have made like what if my dad had like lived in Connecticut, the most boring place in the world. So I just I that's what I wonder about. I don't,
Yeah.
Keoni, I don't think that having your mom having a gay or a lesbian friend around when you're a kid, I don't think that's what makes people gay.
Sure.
I think one, you are probably born like that. I think you just are gonna always probably be gay. And then two, I feel like I know a lot of gay guys. I know many gay men who have troubled father figures
Mm.
and kind of missing father figures. That's a common theme, and that's kind of more the nurture side, and that's like a big kind of controversial question, but that's a pattern in the gay world.
Yeah.
For gay men, there is a definitely a father crisis, and so I feel a little awkward. I've never really talked about this like this candidly, but yeah, I have maybe maybe wondered if what if I had a more normal kind of dual parent kind of situation. I wonder if I would be different. But you know what? I actually feel like that was also a young person doubt when you don't feel very confident and you feel a little anxious about yourself. I actually feel great these days. Keoni, I like don't resent my dad or my mom or feel anxious about any of that. That doesn't really bother me. I'm
Mhm.
just going to be myself, and I don't have time to worry about my conservative family being offended by this information because they know me. Like that's the thing. Everyone knows me. Like I am not a I don't know. I just don't think it should ever be an issue basically, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just also the fact that your dad is semi close to the West Coast. There you go. I always have to do
Yeah.
never eat
Yeah.
stuck.
So
The
my dad
travel, the traveling
my
alone, it's got to be like more stressful on you growing
yes,
up.
yeah. So that was Utah and New York, and then Portland and New York are not close to
No.
America. World, those are very far, two 2 points away that are very far away from each other. So you know, um, but it's okay. Like I
Yeah.
have great memories of both my mom and my dad,
Mhm.
and I I just feel like I probably honestly was just born like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I've been a really sassy performing little big personality for like a long time.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, so this is really just embodies your identity because it is more, your sexuality is more than just your personality.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
what your preferences are. And then
To me it's part of like a list. It's
yeah, yeah,
it's among a couple things that I think about all the time, you know.
yeah.
So
So, when you mentioned you're in China, you did go to Shanghai Academy to get a master's in intercultural communication
the
studies.
Shanghai
Shanghai.
Theater.
Oh,
How'd you find that? Did you find this on Facebook?
I find it everywhere. So, so I mean, just
So yeah, so
that kind of, yeah, that
Shanghai. Let's talk about Shanghai for a
that
little bit.
that trend. So there was like a film you did called Little Milo, which that's
Let's go.
that's my transition to that one
Let's get into this.
because you for a while
Let's
leading up
talk
to
about little
sophomore
Milo.
year of college,
Yeah.
were still closet gay, and then you came out.
No, no,
So
no, 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 no. I was closet to family. I was
oh,
openly gay freshman year of college.
okay,
Yeah, I was
okay,
just closeted. I just hadn't told my dad. I
okay,
was I was just to clarify. It was
yep.
actually like the fall of my freshman year that some some things I don't know what to say happened.
It's college. It's
We're
college.
not gonna talk about Keoni. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're not talking about it. How dare you, Keoni? No, I'm just kidding. No,
But
nothing too crazy, people. Nothing too crazy.
like I didn't, obviously I wanted to try and find the full film, but I only found like a trailer,
Yeah,
like the like
yeah,
40-second trailer.
dude. I want you to watch it. I want to show you the whole thing one of these days. Like,
I want to see
I'll
all your work.
yeah. Well, Little Milo. This is a story I need to talk to you about. This
Yeah.
is here. Let's get into some
Yes.
drama.
Yeah.
Okay. So I let's how should I start? Okay, so before Shanghai Theater Academy, I was an NYU acting student, and I was at a studio called the Stella Adler, the Stella Adler uh, acting studio of acting, and this is like a very like prestigious. Like we have to wear like black t-shirts and black pants every day, and it's
Oh.
so I got my acting training at this place, and So I had realized in Portland that I was going to be an actor and that that is what I want to do, and that I don't want to do kind of the Portlandia lifestyle forever.
Yeah.
So I basically for the next 10 years where I'm at today has been like this journey of like, Ian, you're gonna go be an actor now and go do these crazy things. So go to NYU. Do I transferred to NYU? NYU had just opened NYU Shanghai.
Oh,
So
that's how that connects.
I became friends with the president of the university.
Keoni Chats is probably sponsored by Cove Hard Yerba Mate. Josh Meckler is a good friend and former guest of the show, and after his episode where he talked about the origins of Cove, I was curious as to what yerba mate tasted like. So I went to the store, got that yellow can that says yerba mate just to get a baseline understanding. And once I got that, I thought, okay, now what does this taste like with some alcohol? So a little bit after his episode, Josh was very kind and sent me a pack of all 4 of his flavors just so I can just get a taste of it. And they included the mango colada, the mojito. You have a berry flavor and a lemonade flavor. So all 4 flavors really spoke to me, but just on varying levels. But honestly, you cannot go wrong with whichever one you choose. So if you're interested in trying some of Cove's hard yerba mate, go to hardyyerbamate.com, HARDYERBAMATE.com. Shop around, look around, either get some of this flavor, get some of that flavor, get a variety of flavors, or you can also get some t-shirts. Once you've created your cart, use a discount code Keoni Chats Cove. That's KEONICHATSKOVE for 25% off your total purchase. That is huge. That is so huge. Thank you so much to Cove for becoming a sponsor for the show and helping people be able to go outside in the nice weather, which is currently at this time of recording, it is spring, and be able to loosen up a little bit. Obviously, please drink responsibly, but when it comes to drinking beer, for example, I do feel heavier, so I do feel a little self-conscious, but I still love beer. But this is a great alternative to beer and not get too rowdy, but just get loosened up. So you must be 21 years and older to purchase any alcohol from Cove. And please, everyone, enjoy responsibly.
He's actually a little controversial. Same as John Sexton. He was voted out with a vote of no confidence after this incredible, like gigantic expansion of NYU, where they opened NYU Abu Dhabi and NYU Shanghai, and like started to build all these like little kind of NYU light campuses in like every city of the world, like literally like 20 cities. So all of a sudden NYU is doing and like the NYU GNU, the Global Network University. And so because of that partnership, Shanghai Theater Academy, which is one of 2 like authentic, like true acting schools in China. There are 2, kind of 3, but there's just basically 2. There's the Beijing Central Academy of Drama, and there's the Shanghai Theater Academy. I got accepted by the Shanghai Theater Academy to go do this like incredible Chinese opera. Okay, this is the part where you're gonna put up my Beijing opera dragged out Peking opera face. Okay,
And
and
cue
I
now.
go. Okay, so uh, I get to Shanghai and I start doing these bizarre acting and theater and film jobs. I'm studying Chinese opera. I'm doing like Chinese commercials. I'm doing Shakespeare, like kind of bohemian little actor troops of like, we became like a little theater troupe. We became this like interesting little theater troupe. Um, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm like ready to like talk about everything that's about Little Milo. So hold on. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because
Sure.
basically,
Yeah.
so basically, let me like summarize because like I'm gonna be very careful with what I'm about to say right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Okay, I met like a bunch of kind of cool. This is gonna sound really hard to your listeners, but like like cool bohemian hipster, like then later like what I would learn are conservatives, like pretty like I all of a sudden like around early 2016 to like through the year had like a drinking like buddy group of expats, and these guys were all conservatives. And so basically fast forward, like okay, we were like I don't know, I feel very,
Real quick though, like when you say
yeah, let's,
bohemian, can you explain that real quick?
yes, so let's like compare this to what we just saw this year with like the January 6th like Capitol
Oh, right.
Game of Thrones episode,
Yeah. Yeah, the White
whatever that,
Walkers.
the White Walkers, like the freaking season 8 episode 3. So those guys at the Capitol this year were like barbarians. These guys were like brutish. They're like wearing like Viking, like warrior, fake costumes. And like it was like a proletariat working class uprising meets, I don't know, meets like kind of like a Viking medieval siege the castle, like LARPers. I don't even know what to call them. Like they thought they were just gonna go home. So these guys in Shanghai were nothing like this. These
Mm.
guys in Shanghai worked very, very high. These are just a bunch of like, to be crass, a bunch of like rich assholes, like a bunch of
Mm.
like well paid, but like international, like global. Like these are not like disgruntled working class Americans who maybe feel like China has like taken advantage of us or like taken our jobs. Like these are not conservatives who talk like that at all. So like all of a sudden the Trump thing happens. And also I had moved to China and like officially for that master's degree following NYU. I officially moved to China in fall of 2015, right when Trump's campaign was starting. So I like had a very weird view. I like just wasn't in America. I want to like clarify this. I was not like an American. I was like this little like drag queen in Shanghai. I was not involved. I felt like totally disconnected from America. And like I didn't really, I just thought it was almost like a ridiculous media stunt, or like this is just so ridiculous. Like
Right. I thought it
I
was a
don't even,
joke too when it was all going on.
I thought it was all a joke. And so I was just, I'm literally studying Mandarin and learning how to do Chinese opera, like dancing. So I wasn't paying attention at all to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So then 2016 comes around. I think now I want to talk about Milo Yiannopoulos. Do you know who Milo Yiannopoulos is?
I do
My
not know.
Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay. I'm like literally breaking a rule. I am not supposed to talk about Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos is essentially like blacklisted in media. He is basically like this provocateur. I'm
Mm.
gonna give him like a good description. That's not that like
That won't get
slanted
you
and angry.
blacklisted.
Yeah, that I will get. So from a more liberal point of view, he's a hate speech like asshole,
Oh.
like evil narcissist, like gay guy who is totally racist. Like he's extremely, extremely racist from a more liberal point of view. And I just feel like from a more conservative point of view, he's just honestly like hilarious and like almost like a legend, almost like a comedian like star. So I feel very awkward talking about this because I don't want to downplay that he does say like heinous things that like I just it's almost so heinous and so like bold to talk about what he talks about that like I feel like I laugh at it versus like be horrified. But you could, one should be. I think I just wanted to clarify like Milo Yiannopoulos has a great comedic like talent and style which can really get people, because if you have a cynical like dark sense of humor, he's like right there. I don't know what I feel awkward talking about this because he's also like considered like banned and like a hate speech guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very conflicting. It's very, very, very conflicting. So anyway, I all of a sudden I was with this group, right? I was with this group drinking a lot. I was wearing like cheetah print suits, red, like
Yeah.
monochromatic suits. I was starting to like really like look like a little douchey like expat hotshot. Like I want to like I'm gonna share some photos right now with you of like like the summer of 2016. So these guys were like really fun to hang out with. That's the thing. So like forget about Milanopolis. Back to like this crew. They were not unsophisticated. They were cultured. They were funny. Very everyone was very very funny and like just a great crew, right? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
just like your crew you go out with every weekend. You know what I mean?
You know it's gonna be a good time, ruckus,
Yeah.
and you're just
Oh
gonna
my god.
memorable.
Like they're really really fun. Yeah, and this is where I'm gonna get a little like kind of nervous because I'm not even really sure how to. I don't want to like talk that much right now about like the election itself. Like I'm gonna later think
S-
about this, but
So yeah, let's spin
but
back to Little Milo because
yeah. So that's the thing.
the
Let's talk about
yeah.
that. So that group in like early 2017 came up with an idea to write like to make a movie, and they wanted me to be the lead actor.
Mhm.
Okay, and so woo, this film, I'm gonna share the password. I want people to check this film out. This
Yeah.
film I is like it. Let's talk about this. Okay, this is a film about a young guy named Charlie. Oh, directed. Let me clear the air. The director is Drago Lazatich. Okay, Drago
Oh,
Lazatich.
what?
So
What a name.
this is part of the, this is one of my friends from this amazing crew in Shanghai. So Drago is like this bohemian, cool, like Serbian actor who lived in Shanghai for he's lived there since the mid 2000s. And Drago is especially the year I met him in 2015 and 2016, he was like, oh, he was hilarious. And he's a kind of a, I would say Drago would agree, he has like a like a mixed reaction, mixed response from the Shanghai expat community, but he's just a legend and he's
Hmm.
kind of funny. And Drago told me that he wanted to write a script about a young man named Charlie who is gay and a drag queen who becomes so infatuated with Milo Yiannopoulos that he becomes like almost like a full-on like hardcore, like pretty much like blonde hair, like Nazi, like racist, like he's like a red pilled, right? Like he's so red pilled, he's so conservative now that like, but he's like he wants to be gay, he wants to be Milo Yiannopoulos. So
Mm.
so yeah, and this is why I'm being a little nervous and like a little like cautious with what I say because like the truth is I was also like a drag queen myself in China during this period. So there's like a few like interesting parallels with my own life. And as we got closer to making this film, I started to freak out. I was like, Drago. Sorry, it's getting a little let me change it. I was like, Drago, I'm nervous that people are going to think that this is like my own story. And I need you to realize that I'm getting really nervous that this is just a little almost like
Too
I
spot
don't
on,
want
a little too much
I
on the
don't
nose.
but I didn't write this. This is your words and basically long story short, the character in the film is much much more evil and racist and like Nazi than me. I'm just going to clarify that.
Did that make you
I
feel a little better though? To know like, okay, it's not
Yeah,
as
I
close to my
and
story. I
that's
can do a little.
that's the thing. So then I was because I was trying to edit it. I was really trying to say like Drago, like I can't say these lines. Like so basically for all your listeners, I want to show like a screenshot of when I dye my hair blonde in the film. I go on like a very racist tirade that is cringe inducing to watch. That is the scene that I quit the film twice over. They can confirm this. Drago can confirm this. Um, because I just was like, guys, I I don't need people thinking that this is me. And so then I realized, oh, it has to be the most outrageous. It has to be like the most of the most because then it's this is actually I feel like the film enters an interesting nearly satirical thing. Like we're right on that weird edge of this being like a contradictory, weird, satirical film. And what I think is very interesting, almost like a propaganda film. And that's what I want to talk about really quickly. Every single job I did at the Shanghai Theater Academy, every single commercial, all these films I did in China, all these so I did the Shanghai Jewish Refugee Museum play. That's basically a, like, I mean this with all due respect, but like it has feelings of like a very political propaganda kind of show, right?
So like all
Every,
things you worked on
every
had some sort of
all
subtle
content
messaging.
all content in China has political
Yeah.
messages that are either not so subtle or a little subtle. And so I think we are all in this movie, the whole team who made it, including me, had like truly been like in China for a long time. And we were making a film as like bohemian Chinese Shanghai expats. Okay.
Mm, okay.
And,
Yeah.
and so that's so yeah, I've shown this film to like maybe five of my friends in New York, and quite a few of them are like completely shocked by some of the scenes. So I'm gonna share the link because I want your fans to see this. Like, so anyway, I want to also say that during all those months, because then I think I had a lot of friends who I did theater with, or were like maybe just I didn't talk about this kind of stuff or this kind of politics with. I think they felt really betrayed by me. They got really mad at me for doing this film. They thought it was like a weird, like Nazi confessional movie.
Mm.
They got really mad at me. And I have actually like lost like a couple good friends, honestly, over this movie.
Is that kind of the
That's
the hard, difficult line you walk when it comes to just being an actor in general?
I
Because
know. So that's I did not write Little Milo. I
yeah.
did not. I want everyone to realize what the job of an actor is. Okay, my job as of an actor is to give you that character and that journey.
Mhm.
So that's the thing. Like, I think it was just so relevant and interesting at the time, and like that was like what I was talking about, like over drinks with my friends, was like the insane, like kind of outrageousness of that moment. So for your listeners, like this is a story basically of like someone during the months leading up to that election. And I think it's confusing. Like it's a gay story. He's a drag queen. It's Republican. But it's also like kind of just like who are you rooting for? Like anyway, so that was like the craziest thing, Keoni. And then
Yeah.
guess what I did? The 1 week after we shot that film in late 2017, I without telling any of my friends in Shanghai, all of my people, I packed up my shit in the middle of the night and got on a plane and never came back to China.
Wow. Is it just like the backlash you got out there was just like way too much, or you just like I'm
No,
done?
no, I just was done.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did a couple big final performances. I came in second in the local drag competition,
What the hell? Come on.
and I was the lead actor in NYU Shanghai's
Mhm.
very first play. And I'm gonna share screenshots for all these things. And so I did some amazing uh, jobs that changed my life.
Yeah.
And so crazy enough, Little Milo is like, I got to be honest with you. Some days I watch that movie and think it's brilliant, and then some days I watch it and think it is like really hard to watch and actually really um, almost like just embarrassing. Like
Yeah.
but like truly, some days I love it, and some days I can't even watch. Like it's a very polarizing, intense movie, and
So
and truly I haven't shown like I haven't shown anyone. No, I haven't. I've shown this to like maybe 20 or 25 friends, but not like a lot of people. So
So when you, because it's different, because when you watch this over again, it's just you and I talking, friends, just catching up and
Yeah.
diving in. So you're just being yourself. But then when you are watching your work, watching a little Milo again, for example,
Yeah.
and then you see yourself do some very intense scene, like how did I recover after that scene was done? Like how did I like mentally say like, okay, it was just for the movie. It's not really me. I just need to remember who I am. How did you keep true to yourself during those hard scenes?
Well, that's the thing. You just have to, that is the weird contradiction of like, hold on. That is just like the weird um dilemma of being an actor who tries to create these like very real characters. Like you need to remember that it's almost like a craft and a real like a real like talent if you're good at it, you know? And so, and it's also about being just vulnerable on camera and
Mm.
being willing to like stare right into a lens, being able to like right into a lens and like pour your heart out. And so I want to talk, I want to now segue to kind of the more recent couple years actually, because I feel like there is a very like worrisome um kind of like campaign. I don't know what to call this. I feel like a lot of younger people on social media, I think a lot of Gen Z kids are starting to really enter society and like adulthood, and I think they have like a mission to like be controlling Hollywood in a way that I find disturbing. I think
Mm.
I don't know if this is like cancel culture, because I also feel like cancel culture has truly gotten rid of people who were like long-term abusers who needed to go.
The
And like
Weinsteins of the
because
world and
yeah,
all that.
Weinstein needed to go.
Yeah.
He just was ruining like people's lives. So, but I also feel like just generally kind of the whole Twitter world
Mm.
to me is more sensitive every single month. I feel like right now it's letting up a little bit. I think
Mm.
there's a little bit of almost like laughing at ourselves, almost just a little bit Black Mirror. I don't know how to say it. A little bit Black Mirror, that one episode where Dallas Bryce Howard.
Yeah, yeah. That I only watched like a few episodes of season one. That was one of the ones I saw.
Yeah. So Keoni, this is like awesome. I was just gonna say that I have a big question if filmmakers, artists, musicians are starting to get nervous to put anything out there without every single little potential nuance being offensive and therefore um, worthy of being like completely thrown in the garbage and like erased from, excuse me, like sort of banished and blurred out. So I really take umbrage with this impulse that we're seeing among younger people to really kind of just I feel like they just need to like get a job.
Yeah.
I feel like a conservative old dad. I feel like they just need to like I feel like they just have too much free time on their hands. This past year was really horrible. I want to encourage young people not to waste their lives being petty and bitter on the internet for stuff that has nothing to do with them.
Hmm.
I think they need to find their purpose and like really um, get off of these stupid comment sections where you're just having fights and like starting drama. Like this is such a waste of everyone's time. People need to go get a job. I know
Hmm.
that sounds like an old conservative dad, but I just feel like we're about to see a huge boom in hiring. We're about to see a huge boom of things reopening. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey, America, put down Twitter and the Instagram comment section and like go out and like do something every day. Like, get on your feet, get off the couch. Like, I really want to like encourage people to like find something that they can do, that they can make some money, that they can get outside because, it's just been like such a sad depressing year. Like we all need to just get up right now and like own it. Like carpe diem, people. Like like get out there. So that's like basically my message. So I don't know.
That,
I
that was a perfect message because there's so much
oh,
negativity about social media, which is honestly like it is completely understandable, acceptable because everyone can have their own views. But for like people like myself, yourself that use social media as a tool, it's useful, because we need that to like get our stuff out there to people to
yeah.
watch.
Keoni, we are like intellectuals. I want to like I don't think Gen Z gets what intellectuals are. I think they really are so nervous about being offensive, especially in like, come from me people, especially on trans issues right now. I just find that like there is such a low threshold, like the lowest threshold for any pushback or criticism that like the minute you push back anything on this specific topic, I just feel like the backlash is like literally like people will like kill themselves. I just want everyone to like take a little bit of a chill pill. I want conservatives to take a chill pill. I want liberals to take a chill pill. I want us to get out of our basements and our couches and get outside and go see each other and like I know that.
Safely, unless you're vaccinated.
Oh, yeah, and I also want to encourage people to get vaccinated. Let's get that very clear.
Yep.
I don't know if you agree with me, Keoni, but
I got I have two of them also. So
hell yeah, Pfizer.
yep, the big P. That
We're
sounded weird.
because we're hot. You know what they're saying? Saying only hot people get Pfizer.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that. I like a little disclaimer in
yeah.
the
Only
vaccination sheets.
you have to be hot to get Pfizer, or else they have a person who checks at the door.
It's just a giant
Anyway,
bouncer.
it's just this gay ass diva who's just. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I want to encourage people to get vaccinated. I don't be that lady in Marshalls. People, do not be that lady in Marshalls who is like running her mouth talking about like Fauci. Like, no, that's not a cute look. I think let's just do the right thing and get this shot. I'm fine. Like, are you fine, Keoni? Like,
I'm totally fine.
I'm totally fine.
It's
Like,
been a fantastic conversation. I loved it.
yeah, I just am excited for this summer. So, and I will
Exactly.
visit you in September. I'm going to do a Portland trip September. Okay.
And September is my birthday month, so it's like
Ah,
you've planned it.
wait, what day? What day?
13th.
So are you a Virgo?
Yep.
I'm a Capricorn.
The celestial star signs I've never I've read it. I know the
Maybe
descriptions about it. It does fit
we'll
me.
come to LA and the only thing people will want to talk about is astrology.
No, geez.
You'll get here and you were gonna learn a lot. No, anyway, Keoni, thank you for like I haven't had a chance to talk like this and open up for like it feels like almost like over a year.
Oh,
Like
hey man, that's
so
this is
hey,
what it's for.
you are a great friend and I'm this is like the coolest way to reconnect with like an old friend. This is so
Exactly. Like after
yeah,
every conversation I've had, like I've always like wondered like how like I want to keep in contact with these people. It's great, but then it's just like the busyness of life does make it harder to like consistently stay in contact with someone. But
yeah,
with someone as determined and as ferocious as you are when it comes to communicating, I mean, there you go. We got this.
dude. Please have me on again. I wanna have everyone see Little Milo. So let's maybe you can see Little Milo and we can talk about it. And I have a few more like crazy weird like
I feel
stories
like you do. I mean,
about
you've walked in the
that time. So we should circle back. We're gonna circle
chair.
back and we'll have a little Milo post film little Q&A.
So actually, before you head out, I do end my interviews by asking a couple questions from this hypothetical packet of 170 questions, hypothetical questions.
Let's go. Let's
I'm going to
go.
ask it two. So the first one, if you had a handful of molding clay and whatever you made would become real. So like, let's say you can make a Peloton bike. I saw the bike behind you. So if you had a handful of molding clay and whatever you made would become real until you willed it back into clay, so you can flip it, you can make it real, then back to clay. What would you use it for? Slash, what would you make?
Keone, this is the easiest question I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
An Oscar.
Oh, that's
Boom. And
done.
Award, baby.
Done.
I would make that and put it on my mantle and look at it every day.
Oh, see, there you go. There you go. It'll never go back to being clay.
No, that shit is gonna stay gold. Okay,
There you
it's gonna
go.
stay in that mantle and never leave.
Oh man, I'm a big superhero fan. You can't really tell because you don't see anything in my backdrop. But
Me too. I like
if I could make that clay into like a jetpack where I can go fly around and see people, like see you or see some other folks in New York or whatnot, I totally do that. I think that'd be so much fun.
Dude, oh my gosh, are you ready? Like, I think we're like not that far off from jetpacks.
I
Like,
think
we're already like we're about to have like driverless cars the next couple years, and we're about to have like lunar space travel. Like,
I think what FedEx is delivering by drones.
oh my gosh, like we're like really entering like an exciting new like explosion of innovation. I think, right?
Meanwhile, in China, they're all going, seen it, done it, next.
True. China like literally is like years ahead of us. Like they are like we have no trains, we have nothing like their like just mobile infrastructure. It's crazy. It's crazy. So enough of China. Like I sing their praises a lot. I sing
You really do. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the second question is it's number 169. I thought you'd appreciate that. You so you could choose anyone in the world to become best friends with. Who would you choose?
Oh my god. Oh my god. You know who I would choose to be best friends with?
Who?
Ellen.
DeGeneres?
Ellen fucking DeGeneres. It's like she'll kill me if she ever heard me say Ellen DeGeneres because I feel like she needs a friend right now.
Yeah.
I feel like she just had her own cancel thing. So Me Too and cancel culture has changed. It was originally about men who truly just were like evil to women and made them sleep with them to get a job in Hollywood. And then like by like 2019, 2020, cancel culture became like just having a bad boss. It just became about who's like a really mean evil boss. Apparently, Ellen has a bad reputation. And so that is
did
why
hear about that. I did hear about that.
yeah. And I don't know. I like love her. I just you know what Ellen likes to do that I think is so hilarious? I think she likes to prank people. She's like a little trick, like playing like boo. Like she's
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I saw some of those videos.
and she's so funny and she loves to dance. And I think she's also like a super important gay icon. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and
because she was the first one to ever say on live
like,
television.
Ellen really, I just feel like, I actually feel like this is where the cancel culture was wrong. I don't think they should have canceled Ellen. I think it was way too much. I don't think Ellen deserved it. I don't think, I think, can you imagine being the center of a show like that? Of course you're going to have rules. Of course you can't talk to everyone. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like part of me truly from like the organization of a company and running a show, I don't know if like people know what that's like, but like it's just
That's a lot.
time is limited. You don't have a lot of free time. So it just sounds like there were too many resentful, disgruntled employees who just maybe felt like she was just too cold and harsh. And that's fair. But I don't know if we should like cancel Ellen. I love Ellen. I just feel like she's
she's
like
on the like the highest, I guess, Mount Rushmores when it comes to talk shows. Yeah.
But what I will feel like though, I actually want to say something. I think her show has gotten a little tired and a little bit predictable, and I just don't think anyone watches it anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like, I don't know. I like imagine that Ellen is gonna like have like an interesting comeback. Like maybe this is her way of like sort of winding down the show a little bit because I don't think they're filming any new episodes these days right now. So I think this is also like clearly celebrities don't want to be in a big room full of people.
Yeah, that too.
Celebrities don't want to have their masks off. So I also think the show just can't film right now either.
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think talk shows are really viable. So I'll be interested to see what Ellen does because she's just such an icon and she's such like an entertainment icon here in LA. So again, to answer your question, if I could have any best friend in the world, Ellen. So
there it is.
that's what I gotta say.
My answer, Ian Tullis.
Hey, you know what I go by? I go by Ian Slade.
I did notice that. So I didn't know what happened with Tullis. Did you just drop it off altogether?
No, I use Ian Tullis like as my day name, but
Okay.
I think as actor it will be Ian Slade.
It sounds
I actually-
strong. It's strong.
Is Ian Slade Tullis too much? What if it was all three? Is that too much?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think it's too much. I think maybe Ian Slade will be like one thing and Ian Tullis will be like another thing.
I think that's the perfect way to do it too, because you got to hide yourself a little bit when you're
it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
So Ian, where can the people find you on social media?
Okay, so I have been like, sort of like on a break
Sure.
from Instagram. I just like haven't really like posted for like a month. I just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like working too much. But I'm gonna get back into it. It's at Ian IAN __ 2, right? Ian __ Slade.
Okay.
Really easy. Ian Slade. IAN SLADE. And yeah, please follow me. I don't know. But like yeah, I haven't really like I just needed time to like have a break from looking at my phone all day, you know?
Yeah. And sir, you are officially have your first podcast underneath your belt. How do you feel?
Oh, dude, this is you're a great host and I work as a host all day at my restaurant. I got to like sit back and let
it loose.
Yeah, so this is really fabulous. This is really cool. Really appreciate this.
Thank you so much for sticking around until the end of the episode. If you like what you heard or watch and would like more episodes from Keoni Chats, the show can be found on all podcast platforms and YouTube under Keoni Chats. If you want to keep in the loop on other creative content releases, you can follow KC Media on Instagram and Twitter under KC Media 13. And then on Facebook, it'll be under Conlu K Media. So if you'd like to be a guest, email me at kcmedia13@yahoo.com. Tell me your story. I'd love to get you on the show. So until the next episode, everyone, please take care.